fact, we had a very interesting discussion here on the panel, because startups is really the backbone of the innovation right now in any country. Not only in the telecoms. In telecoms, it is extremely important because we are in a sector that is really undergoing a massive transformation, and startups are needed to fuel and to bring in the new solutions and the new ideas and the new concepts that will really contribute to that big industrial revolution that we're witnessing in our space. So here we have discussed a few things. One of them was how, accepting the failures as you go into the into an entrepreneurial mode, and accepting that you will have to take risks, and you will have to live with uncertainty, and you will have to be quick to fail, but also to learn, and then eventually to succeed. So these are some of the important points. As a co-founder, because we had, I'm not a unique founder, so as a co-founder of the company, we had challenges in different aspects. As I mentioned, the first one was really in the initial financing, and we started it in France. And in France, at least at that time, was the banking system was very conservative, and we did not have the same availability of venture capital as in the US, for example. So we went through a different route, which is starting our own consulting business, starting generating cash from services, from consulting, and then using that cash really to fund an R&D innovation effort in the startup. And the second challenge was winning your first customer. And we were not a startup in the consumer business, where you can directly through the internet, reach millions of potential customers. In our case, we were selling to telecom companies. And telecom companies are by definition extremely conservative, because they are running 5 nines, high availability networks. And so they will not easily work with you. The first thing they will ask you, who are your references? I don't want to be the first one to try. So the quest for the first customer was an incredible challenge that we eventually overcame. And then we had a very nice growth pattern from there. But then the third challenge was, I call the stagnation, because after you've gone through the initial successes, you have to deliver, you have to execute, and you have to invest, and you have to rise to the level of the mature companies. And this is also where it's a phase that is very capital intensive. So you need to kind of raise capital, and you have to agree to let go of your equity, and to let go some of your control, which is hard to do for the entrepreneurs. Well, first, Telecom Review is by far the most professional and amazing media for the telecom sector in this region. And Tony and the team have always kind of raised the bar and organized fantastic events, whether here or in Dubai. So it's a really great set of events, and they are great because they bring a massive number of experts and senior executives and key decision makers and influencers into one meeting room. So the debates and the ideas are very rich. The exchanges, are very rich. Now, why it is important? Because, as I mentioned, in our sector, we are under the obligation to transform ourselves, to benefit from this digital transformation that's happening, and to grow new opportunities for ourselves. And we are, right now, the telecom industry is trying to figure out in what way to evolve, and where it can create value, and what kind of ecosystems and partnerships it needs to create, and how it should leverage startups and innovations and entrepreneurs for itself to basically have a second birth. And so that's why these exchanges are so important, because they help us all who are trying to navigate in this uncertain world.